Hi everyone, my name is Noé Ramírez Ibarra, and the members of this group are Hernández Salas Iliana Lisbeth, García Flores Efraín, García Vélez Eric Daniel, Rodríguez Reynoso Víctor Rosario, Cepeda Rubio Cristian Octavio. We are students of the fourth semester of Industrial Engineering career. Distance education model from the Tijuana Technological Institute. We will present the subject Work Factor System from Work Study 2 class. Teacher is Arturo Tiznado. Work Factor System. Background. In the years 1935 to 1936, a time engineers group directed by John Quick worked in developing a formula for press machine works that could be used to estimate drilling times, shape, and other similar works in this kind of machines. This research work was the one that gave rise to the normal times obtained by a system known as work factor system. Principles of work factor. 1. The system is based on a time necessary to perform a simple movement with a defined purpose, which can be measured and permanently classified for use when establishing time studies. 2. When performing any manual work composed of a series of movements of the body parts, the difference in speed with which the different members of the body move when performing a job is recognized.
Hello partners, I am Efraín García Flores and continue with the presentation. Number 3. In the time necessary to the carry out the any movement, the distance traveled by the part of the body that carries out the work will have get influenced. Number 4. There are some movements that do not represent great difficulty for their realization that travel at distance, to which they are called basic movements. Number 5. Finally, there are other moments in which there are circumstances that then to daily then and the time necessary for their realization will depend on the number of the circumstance of factor work which can be to kind, manual control necessary, weight of resistance of the object, continuous variables, weight and resistance manual control distance traveled part of the body used. For my part it's all. My next partner will continue for the presentation. Thanks.
Hello, my name is Víctor Rosario Rodríguez Reynoso. I'm going to talk about some work factor points. Number 1. Used part of the body. It refers to a series of parts capable of moving coordinately. The work factor system takes the times of the movements of this part, so that it saves most taking into account the size of shape. The weight and the base of levers constituted by bones on tissues. Example: finger, hand, forearm, arm, forearm rotation, foot, leg, trunk. Number 2. Distance travel. It refers to that the smaller the distance, the shorter the time necessary for the relation of this movement, and the greater the distance, the greater the travel speed per unit distance. For determination, it is necessary. Number 1. Determine the reference point of the measured distance. Number 2. The way in which it is to be measured. Number 3. Number control. Consider 4 factors. Number 1. Start off or rotation. Number 2. Driving direction control. Number 3. Precaution. Number 4. Other chain.
Stop or detention movements that stop at the will of the operator. 2. Driving direction control, manual control to direct a movement through a narrow space. 3. Precaution, care that must be taken to prevent damage. 4. Address change, control necessary to change a direction or move an obstacle. Meaning of the 4 variables. They mainly influence the time necessary to carry out any work movement. That is, it is only a means of describing the movement according to the amount of control and necessary for its execution. Analysis of movements to determine correctly the necessary times of each one must express in function of the variables in order to keep the nomenclature, the initial of the parts of the body already established at the beginning are kept. Finally, the working factors for which they usually keep the following order. 1. Weight or resistance. 2. Direction control. 3. Caution or care. 4. Change of address. And 5. Stop.
Hello, my name is Iliana Lisbeth Hernandez Salas. 1W. Weight or resistance. It is measured in 0.5 kilograms for the different parts of the body, with the only forearm rotation exception, that is measured in 0.5 kilograms by 25 millimeters. 2 variables are considered. 1. The used part. 2. Sex of the operator. 2. S. Direction control. 1. This factor is used when we grab a particular object in solitude of the groups. 2. When you are going to leave an object. 3. P. Caution or care. This factor is used when necessary to avoid damage or damage to an object or part of the operator body.
Change of address. It is used when you move your hand through an arc of 180 degrees or more to take or leave an object. Stop. It is used when the movement must be stopped at a certain point by the action of the moveless. Classification for the application of the system. It may happen that the same movement is repeated several times in a row when executing an operation. It also happens that the some moves are not made in all the work cycles. So it will be necessary to determine the proportion of time the movement is repetitive and expressed in the form of the percentage and the end of the expression of the moment. Finally, it is necessary to add a quantity of time when they perform some difficult movements simultaneously. Thank you very much for your attention.